So you've watched the gurus and you've heard all the wild success stories. You're trying like hell to get into multifamily investing, but you're just spinning your wheels. You feel stuck like a car with its tires buried in the mud, and that little voice in your head is starting to ask, am I even cut out for this? If what I just described feels too familiar, I want you to listen closely. You're not crazy. You're likely just falling into one of the 3 critical traps that stop 99% of beginners dead in their tracks. In this video, I'm pulling back the curtain on those 3 mistakes. These are the exact pitfalls that cost me thousands of dollars and years of my life when I was starting out. More importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to smash through them so you can finally buy your first property and start building some real wealth. The first critical mistake is hunting for a unicorn. All right, let's get right into it. The first mistake is one that snares almost every new investor. I call it hunting for a unicorn. This is the fantasy that your very first deal has to be this massive 150 unit apartment complex that's gonna make you an instant millionaire. You spend months, maybe even years chasing this mystical beast. You're downloading every listing, you're running numbers on online syndication deals, and you get absolutely buried under a mountain of data. You're looking for the perfect deal in the perfect market at the perfect time. And what's the result? You do nothing. It's a textbook case of analysis by paralysis. It's like being a chef who spends all day reading recipes but never actually cooks a meal. It's all rooted in fear. Fear of screwing up, fear of losing money, and this insane pressure to hit a grand slam on your first pitch. You see other people closing deals and you start second guessing everything, constantly tweaking this or checking your criteria there until you feel hopelessly behind the 8 ball. The dream of financial freedom gets choked out by this constant nagging anxiety. You end up stuck on the sidelines telling yourself you'll jump in when property values drop or when interest rates are perfect. But trying to time this market is a fool's game. And what matters is time in the market. Most people fail at multifamily because they're following the wrong playbook. I was one of them until I built a system that took me from debt to $6 million in apartment buildings. I broke it all down in a free 12-step mini course, so click the link in the description now to get it for free. So how do you break free from this cycle? What's the fix? It's simple. Stop hunting for unicorns and start looking for horses. Forget that 150 unit monster for now. Your first goal is to just get in the game. That means thinking smaller. Think about a 5 unit building, a 10 unit building, or a manageable 20 unit property. These smaller properties are the absolute best training ground for new investors. They are the equivalent of learning to fly in a simple training plane before you try to pilot a jumbo jet. They're way less complex, much easier to finance, and the stakes are a whole lot lower. When you start small, you start gaining real world in the trenches experience. You learn how to screen a tenant, how to deal with a leaky faucet at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, and how to actually read lease agreements without your eyes glazing over. You learn the rhythm of owning property. This experience is more valuable than any book or seminar. It builds the confidence you need to scale up. The goal of your first deal is not to retire. The goal is to learn, build momentum, and prove to yourself that you're a player in this game. Once you close that first deal, the fear starts to melt away, and it's replaced by swagger that only comes from taking action. Breaking the process down is the only way to beat the paralysis that keeps so many people stuck forever. The second critical mistake, the bad math trap. Let's talk about mistake number 2, because this is one that can turn a dream deal into a financial nightmare before you even know what's happening. I call it the bad math trap. This is where eager investors get so jacked up on the idea of owning a property that they let their emotions hijack the calculator. They look at the gross rental income and their eyes turn into dollar signs. And they completely gloss over all the real costs that are waiting to eat that income up for breakfast. It's one of the most common and devastating mistakes you can make. So here's what it looks like. You find a small multifamily property that brings in $5,000 a month. Your mortgage is $3,500 a month, and you think, sweet, I'm gonna cash flow $1,500 a month. But hold on, you've completely ignored the reality. You haven't budgeted for property taxes, insurance, or property management fees, which can skim 8 to 10% right off the top. You haven't factored in a vacancy rate. And with the national multifamily vacancy rate projected to hit 6.25% in early 2025, You can't just assume your units will always be full. And the big one, you haven't budgeted for repairs and capital expenditures. What happens when a water heater gives up on you? That's $1,500 easy. A new roof? That could be the $15,000 gut punch you weren't ready for. And suddenly your $1,500 a month profit has vanished. In fact, you're now bleeding money every single month just to keep the lights on. This is how investors go bankrupt. They're drowned by 1,000 tiny cuts they never saw coming because they were high on excitement instead of being grounded in disciplined math. So what's the right way to do it? You have to learn to underwrite a property like a pro. Underwriting is just a fancy term for verifying the numbers, and it's like a pilot's pre-flight checklist. The emotional investor just glances at the sky and says, "Looks good enough to fly." The professional investor, however, inspects every single system, the engine, the fuel, the controls, before even thinking about taking off. You have to stress test the deal's future performance. A great starting point is the 50% rule. The rule states that you should assume about 50% of your gross rental income will be eaten up by operating expenses, and that does not include your mortgage. So if your property brings in $5,000 a month, assume $2,500 is gone. Poof, there it goes. That goes to taxes, insurance, maintenance, property management, vacancies, and all the rest. The remaining $2,500 is what you have left to pay your mortgage. If your mortgage is $2,000, then your realistic cash flow is only $500. You see the difference? You also need a contingency fund. This is a separate savings account, your oh crap fund, with at least 6 months of total expenses, including the mortgage. When that water heater breaks or a tenant skips out, this fund is your safety net. Without it, one emergency can force you to sell at a loss. Don't skip this. Run your numbers conservatively, get real quotes for everything, and always budget for the unexpected. Math isn't the sexiest part of real estate, but it's the part that keeps you in business. The third critical mistake is the Lone Wolf Delusion. All right, the third and final mistake, and honestly, this might be the biggest one of all. This is what separates the amateurs from the pros, and I call it the Lone Wolf Delusion. This is the deeply flawed belief that you have to do everything yourself. You have to find the deal, fund it, manage it, and unplug the toilets all on your own. This is a huge mistake, and it's born from a scarcity mindset. New investors think that if they bring people in, they'll have to give up a piece of the pie. Here's the truth. Trying to do it all alone means you'll never get a slice of the pie. Think of it like trying to climb Mount Everest. You wouldn't just show up in shorts with a backpack and hope for the best. You'd hire an expert Sherpa who knows the mountain, a doctor to manage your health, and a whole support team at base camp. Do you personally have hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash for a down payment? Do you have the net worth a commercial bank requires to back the loan? Are you an expert in real estate law, property inspections, and contract negotiations? Of course not. Nobody is. The lone wolf spends years trying to save up, only to watch property prices outpace them. They get overwhelmed trying to manage a property from a state away and burn out completely. Or worse, they make a critical legal or financial mistake that costs them everything because they didn't have an expert in their corner. They take on 100% of the work and 100% of the risk, and it almost always ends in failure. The solution? Build your team before you even find a deal. Your team is your single greatest asset. Think of it like assembling your own personal Avengers. So, who do you need? First, an investor-savvy real estate agent. This is your scout, your person on the ground. I don't mean your cousin who just got their license. You need a killer agent who lives and breathes multifamily in your target market. They bring you off-market deals and know the local trends inside and out. Second, a great mortgage broker who specializes in investment properties. This is your financing guru. In a high-rate environment, this person is your guide through the finance jungle, showing you the secret paths to get you a loan approved. Third, a property manager. This is your mission control. A great property manager is one of the most critical hires you will ever make and can literally make or break your investment. They handle the daily headaches, they find good tenants, and they manage repairs, freeing you up for what you do best, which is finding the next deal. And finally, you need capital partners, but not the way you might think. This isn't about giving up equity through syndication. This is about using private lenders. These are people with capital who want a solid fixed return on their money without the hassle of being a landlord. They act as your private bank, lending you the money for the deal, and in return, you give them a debt position secured by the property. It's a win-win. They get a safe investment, and you keep 100% of the equity and all the long-term appreciation. Start building these relationships now. Go to local real estate meetups, connect with people online, and tell everyone what you're trying to do. You'll be shocked at how many people are looking for exactly the kind of opportunity you can offer. So let's bring it all home. The 3 mistakes that stop 99% of people are hunting for a unicorn, getting caught in the bad math trap, and suffering from Lone Wolf Delusion. The playbook is simple. Start small to get real-world reps in. Run your numbers like a stone-cold professional and build your all-star team before you even need them. If you're serious about finally breaking through and buying your first multifamily property, you need a clear plan of attack. Here's the truth. Most people fail at multifamily because they're being taught the wrong game. I was one of them, chasing shiny deals, listening to bad advice, and drowning in debt. But once I figured out how to find real off-market opportunities, fund them creatively, and manage them for cash flow, everything changed. Today I own over 50 units worth more than $6 million, and I did it solo. No partners, no syndication hype, and no guru blueprint. If you're tired of guessing and you want to see what actually works, I laid out my entire process in a free 12-step multifamily mini course. Click the link in the description below to get access. It's the roadmap that flipped my entire life completely. It's free, so go ahead and check it out right now. The path to success in this business isn't about being a genius or getting lucky. It's about avoiding the same dumb mistakes that trip everyone else up. You have the knowledge now. Stop waiting, start building. You've got it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a video I release.